Okay, good afternoon. Shaggy SoCal Tool for Forza, third time's the charm. Previous two attempts, I'm not sure what's going on, but all of a sudden the stream, what's just all of a sudden stopped. So I kind of rebooted internet, Wi-Fi router, though I'm hardwired into the router, and rebooted the Xbox, and fingers crossed. So we're here at Lime Rock Park. This is one of the races for this coming Thursday. The other one will be Maple Valley. Standard track guide format. Just going to go out and run a couple of out laps, medium tires, get a feel for it. Then I'll do the detailed track walk, kind of how I'm going to approach it, what I think the car likes, what seems to work to get around the circuit. Then I'm going to run a mock race or I'm going to run a sim race with what I think the lap is going to be on Thursday, and hopefully then that will hopefully the stream holds. So with that, I'm on medium tires, 50% fuel. Let's just go out and run a couple of laps. Okay. Impatient. Plus, I could do rolling starts for these, but then I got to figure out what gear the car's going to be in, and sometimes where the game releases you on that kind of rolling start is, you know, some of them I wish it could be a little bit sooner, either a little bit, either release you sooner or not not going go right before you have to brake for a turn. But anyway, I want to be careful of that curbing. Whoa, cold tires. Okay, we'll do one more. Let's do one more flyer here, and then we'll get into the details. For me, a lot of this, especially if I'm not in traffic, this is mostly a third gear circuit. You really shouldn't need to go to second, unless you really need to because you had to check up, or you're in traffic and you're trying to set something up, or you miss your braking and need to downshift pretty quickly. That could have been better. All right. So coming down, let's do the track walk part. So can't talk today. Coming down the front straightaway, especially if you get a good run out of the final turn, coming down the straight here, you can shift to fifth if you want to keep the car a little more relaxed. If you wind it out in fourth, you're going to hit the rev limiter right before you need to brake. So up to you, whichever what you want to do on that one. I think for me, just lap over lap, it's just more convenient just to go to fifth. This is long enough straight that you get a good run out. You might want to use fifth, to benefit from some of the drafting, so you're not pegging the rev limiter. But regardless, whether you're in fourth or fifth gear, um, for me the braking is going to be, and you can kind of see it here. I'm looking. Hold on a second. I'm going to mute the mic. I think I know who's calling. Okay, first I thought that was the fetching Mrs. Shaky SoCal calling, but no, it was somebody else. But then I thought, I should probably text the lovely my better half just to make sure she knows that I am recording, so that she doesn't. Um, well, at least she knows that I'm recording, and then at least she won't necessarily dial the home phone, but then she'll keep me posted where she's at. Anyhow, married stuff. But anyhow, back to the track guide. Again, fourth or fifth gear coming down for the braking zone. I'm looking at, for me coming down the straight, it's easy to see the temporary lighting there that's kind of partially hidden by the there we go. So I'm looking for that temporary lighting pole, because that, even let's say if we're running at night or in weather conditions, I should still be able to spot that when those lights are on. But the braking really is about at that light. That's about where I'm going to be braking at. It's also, you could say, the three board. You can also, if you can notice the discoloration in the pavement, you've got the kind of the darker streaks that are parallel to the track, but then you've got the perpendicular one. Kind of like, think about people getting on the brakes. Maybe they're scraping the splitter on the pavement. It kind of darkens that area first. So to me, again, I'm going off the light pole. It's the easiest thing to spot. Braking for me for turn one, I am actually will be braking in a straight line towards the inside of the corner. So it'll be coming across the track. Unless there's somebody there, then I kind of got to respect that. But be braking across the track, hopefully getting it down to third gear and releasing the brakes as I get to the inside curbing. We'll see how I do. Again, tire compounds I might be a little off of that. Maybe I might get on the curbing, but for these next two corners, it is just kind of a nice, graceful double apexer. So I'll just in third gear, keep the car balanced, let it come out. Maybe come out mid-track, maybe a little bit past that. Turn in again, really, off the throttle to turn in, roll back in the throttle. It's all just a balancing act with throttle. Shouldn't really need to brake unless I've done something wrong or I'm having to check up because something's going on in front of me. So again, still third gear through here. This is where I say this whole back part, it's mostly third gear. The turning here, there's really no definitive, I don't have a definitive braking point for it. Again, in the race, we won't have the kind of these sector, start, gates, I guess we'll call them. They won't be there. Um, for me, the braking it's probably a little bit of a brake, maybe a little bit of a brake before that's still third gear. I kind of go off at the big white tent on the outside there, as that starts to go off the screen. That's about when I'm kind of just doing a check brake, get the car settled in and turn in. Still third gear. Again, second's an option if I really need to check up, maybe because of traffic. I like doing a late apex here and trying to keep the car to the left side, roll back into the throttle a little bit, but then here, this is the other one. This is one you can get caught out on pretty easily. One, sometimes you think, it's a little bit of a straight and I can roll into the throttle, and then you realize too late you need to get back out of it to make this turn. So I would say just roll in. If you're going to get to full throttle, you're not going to be there long. It's just in and immediately off. Depending on your speed, you might need to check brake a little bit just to get a little weight in the nose to get the car turned in. Still third gear, but what I'm trying to do is get it rolled in so that I can start rolling back into the power as I get to the apex or just past it. The other risk here, as you're bringing the car out, is be careful of the curbing on the outside, because again, you're going to have a bit of steering here, but you're also going to be rolling back into the throttle. So the weight's going to be all in that left rear tire, and if it gets on that curbing and loses grip, it's going to spin up and the car's going to hook, because we know the back end. Brad made some really good improvements for the final tune, but I haven't done it yet myself, but I just would be very careful that you don't get on the curbing and certainly don't go past it while you still have turning and you're still full throttle, because it may hook the car and send you shooting back across the track the other direction. We'll see if that happens when I, run the test race. It probably will. But again, third gear accelerating up. This is probably where I'll probably put it up to fourth very briefly. Again, I think this is what they call it, the not straight or no name straight. I forget what they call this, but setting up since we're running the alt version, we're setting up for the much heavier braking than I think we normally would for the uphill chicane. For me, there's no definitive, like, again, there's no braking boards on the outside to go off of, no easy landmarks. Actually, for me, I think the 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 rhythm I'm getting into is when the track straightens out, setting up for that corner right about here. This is where I'm going to start braking. So fourth gear. This is a second gear. Actually, I lied. I said it was mostly third gear. I was like, nope, this is the one second gear corner on well, let's see. I'm going to lie again. No, this is one of two second gear corners. Mostly third, but there's a couple of the really sharp turns. I think you're going to be down in second, but let's work that out. But again, braking here from fourth gear down to third, down to second, and this is a fairly, it is a pretty, if you look at the track map, it is a pretty much a 90-degree corner entry in. What I will say is, at least early laps for me, I would tend to take this a bit late, but I guess what I will say is you can actually turn in for this corner, especially if you're on the wheel. Controlling might be a little more difficult, but I think on the wheel, you can turn in for this corner earlier than you think. So I think when I was first trying to get back up to speed, I was kind of going all the way up here and then turning in here, like late, kind of squaring up the corner. But let me find reverse. Once I kind of ran a few laps, what I started to realize, and I think I did this in the Mazdas too that we ran earlier here, is as kind of the scaffolding there and the little corner worker stand, shaded area, as that's going out of view, I can release the brake here and start turning in. So I can actually arc it in earlier, and you can use a lot of this inside curving um, to start going up straight up the hill. I would say for the most part, now again, I don't have track limits on to know for certain, but generally, the inside where it's painted red on the backside of the curving, if it's the on the right side, you can easily get your right side tires on that red. Not a problem. You can almost straddle it as well. I think once you go past, you can't straddle it with the inside tire, or you can't straddle it with the outside tire, but you can straddle it with the middle of the car. And definitely, if you just plan on just saying, when I cross over this curving, I'm going to hit the red squares with whatever tire is on the inside. So on that one, I'll hit the right one. I'm going to go straight up the hill. I'm going to hit the left side tire on the red there on the left, and I'm going to hit the right side tire on the red on the right. And I'll probably have to turn slightly as I crest the hill. That again, the severity of the curb. When I ran a couple laps of controller, if I hit that curving late with the left sides, it was enough the car hooked left. So I would say, steer, avoid that, try and stay off of it, don't touch it. That's bad. Thread that needle. Same thing here. You can get close to that curving. I would try and stay off of it. Again, third gear, maybe up to fourth, depending on how good of a run you get out of the corner. Setting up for the second set of chicanes on this alt circuit. Again, Lime Rock doesn't have a lot of easy reference points to know where to brake. So where I think I've settled in on is you can see the inside curving, like for the regular circuit, where it starts. I'm aiming just before I get to it. It's about when I'm going to start braking there. It also kind of lines up with, I'd almost say like the transition. You have the right hander that's going in, but then there's almost like a little bit of a drop because it also is going to straighten out for the alternate chicane. So again, I'm going to probably, at least in the daytime, I'm going to use the inside curving here to figure that out. Depending on what happens on weather and lighting, it'll take a few laps, but then I'll try and find something else, I can use as a reference point so that, hopefully I don't run into the back of people. But this one down fourth gear, down to third gear, I think down to second as well. Brake, 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 brake. I will probably take a slightly wider entry. Unlike, let's say, when we were at Sunset Peninsula and there was that similar kind of corner where it was just this long right hander and double apex, and then immediately, went back to the left chicane on the way out for that last short straightaway before you got back onto the oval. Um, that one I was taking very shallow because because the way the final left out of that that combo. Um, Taking it shallow allowed me to be straighter. I could take it straighter to get back on the power. This one, it's a much sharper turn. This final right left to get out of this area. So for this one, I'm going to set up a little bit wider to get the car slowed down because I need to get a sharper angle for the second half of this right-hander to hopefully set me up for the left. So that's the long way of explaining. I'm going to have the car out to second gear, probably bring it out to about mid-track, turn it in late, and I'm going to try, if I do it right, I'm actually going to get on the curbing a little bit. And what I'm trying to aim for visually for me, again, I'm basing this off of current conditions. I don't know how well this will be, let's say if we're running at night or if it's raining. But what I'm trying to do is, you can see the big tree that's kind of there to the right, kind of straight ahead but slightly off center to the right, and then the curbing for the last part of the chicane. If I'm lined up between it, and I guess with the smaller tree kind of back in the distance, if I'm lined up here and pointed roughly this direction, that's going to make this left-hander a lot easier to take on the way out. Um, so I get to it, then you're going to turn. Track limits here are tricky because if you look at the curbing, the kind of the off-white, the kind of the off-white outer curbing that's right along the track, that you can get your tires on no problem. It's crossing over this one. I almost say it's very ticky-tack on track limits. You really can't get onto the inner curbing with the left side tires because if you do, oh, of course, you're going to make a liar out of me again, aren't you, Forza? Let's just say this is good. This is one that if you try to cut this one too much, you will get track limit violation. You will get time penalties. So again, let me reline this up, whip it around. So again, I'm going to try and line it up, point it between. As I get to it, then turn. Try to get it late. Third gear as you're coming out. Second, third gear. This one, the back end's going to step out. I mean, you really want to try and be aggressive to get back to the throttle. Just understand that as you cross over this curbing and the car gets out to the outside, expect the rear tires. If you're not running TC, expect the rear tires to spin up. Expect the back of the car to slide out, and just again, just bounce with the throttle to get the car kind of set straight and go down the hill. Um, it's the one area where I think the where we're going to see people kind of doing tank slappers. Heading down the hill, third gear. Again, I'm always kind of looking at the trees here on the left side as far as getting the car out to the left side here before this turn. This is an awkward gear shift because your turn in is at the bottom of the hill. It's like right at the bottom of the hill. I'm going to start turning in for the corner. If you're in third gear at this point, you're pretty high in the rev range, and soft tires, you can almost take it flat. I'm still taking a little bit of a confidence lift just to balance, put a little more weight in the front. I'm not coming like completely out of the throttle. It's just kind of like a feather it. The softer, the harder compounds, I'm probably gonna have to do a bigger lift to get in and roll back in. But if you're in third, you can do it in third, not a problem. And you'll get it to the apex, but on your exit, you're going to be halfway out and you're going to be almost right at the rev limiter. You're going to have to upshift. So this is where it's an awkward one where, if you want to go through and get to the apex and pass the apex in third, then you're going to immediately upshift to fourth. If you want to short shift to fourth before you turn in, you can do that. I think that'll work as well. Or, you can do the other one is as you get in, you get to the apex, shift in the middle of the corner. So I don't know. Again, I don't have a preference on it. I think I might do a combination of all three depending on the situation. But it's one of those. It's like almost gearing wise, it's like if it was just a little bit taller in third or a little bit shorter in fourth. I don't know, but regardless, get back to the throttle, get up into fourth gear, start heading down the front straightaway, and you're back to start finish. And whether you keep it in fourth for turn one, for the braking for turn one, or pop it to fifth, that's up to you. That upshift can be anywhere. I would say if I'm going to upshift to fifth, it's going to be about start finish. So that is a lap of Lime Rock. Lime Rock full alt. So at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up and I'm going to run a mock race against the AI with, again, what I think is going to be race distance. Again, now that we're doing, a round of qualifying to kind of set the bucket orders, it does kind of shorten race distance in that we've got to kind of account qualifying. Again, if the aim is a 35-minute race, if we're taking about 5 minutes of that time to run a quali session, then the race is going to be a little bit shorter. So that's a lot of talking for not a lot of driving. So let me go ahead and get out of this, and let's go. We're going to go ahead and quit race and set this whole thing back up. Had a messenger discussion. I haven't done 5x tire testing here yet, mainly because I wasn't sure at this point if we were going to continue it, 5x tire wear, if we were going to bump it up to 6x tire wear, just because of the shortened race distance. But Matt said, nope, we're going to go 5 this week. So I have not fully done tire testing, so we're going to do a little bit of that here in the race. But so Jaguar D-type. Okay, so we are going to do a circuit race. I'll handle that in a second. Line my part full. So race length, I guesstimated. Where's that notepad thing? App. Okay, so Lime Rock. Again, it's a short track. We're gonna be lapping in that minute one. At least I'm gonna be lapping in that minute one range. So I had said 27 laps. Let's do 27 laps, and then based off the race time at the end there, I can take a further guesstimate. We'll do random. Rolling 4 on 20 is what Met still does on that. Partly cloudy. Nope, we're going to say random. I am not going to do the demo race in the rain. All the drive tires. Cars. Here's where we're going to have some fun. Let's see. We're going to do vintage Le Mans sports cars. I'm going to give them another chance, but I'm going to limit them to, because we're now A692, and so I'm still going to say they can go up to 720. Again, I'm trying to manipulate the strength of field, to give, I want some faster cars out there. 1926, 2024, that's fine. So we'll have a mix of those cars. Sport rules. We're not going to ghost back markers. Standing start, PI ascending. So hopefully this puts me, if the game balances the PI right, I should be somewhere in the middle, maybe towards the back. But regardless, I'll probably drop to the back anyway. End of race timer, that's fine. Compare last back. Okay, mandatory pit stops. I'm going to put, we're doing 5x. I'm still going to put it at 2 because the AI, the driver tires tend to run. Again, we tend to run to 60% because none of us really want to be out there, unless you're land rail. None of us really want to be out there much past the 60% deg. But the AI tends to run well past that. So we'll make them pit twice. And, well, you know what? No, because if I'm running 5x, they're going to pit once. I'm only going to pit once. Now we'll go back to 1. I can always change it for the second race. And I think that's it. Okay, fingers crossed. The AI, when I did the mock race at Sunset Peninsula, the AI driver tires were just horrible. They just didn't know how to drive the track with the car at that PI level. I tried a different mix, and it's like they were slightly better. She doesn't tell us about the tracks anymore. Come on, Forza. Okay, so car. Fuel and tire. I'm actually going to start on the hard tires. Again, I did do 60 or 6x tire testing here at Lime Rock, and it was like at 6 times tire wear, it was like 6.5 laps on the softs, 10 laps on the mediums, and 13 laps on the hards. I think at 5x, it's going to be 1 lap more, for each compound. So I'm going to start I'm gonna, well, first off, it's only 27 laps, so I can actually lower that to 40% because I don't remember what I did prior. We'll let that figure it out. But I'm gonna start on the hard compound. The Well, Forza tries to figure that out. Again, the guess is on 5X. I should be able to get 14 laps on that. Uh, medium would be 11, and then I know on the softs it's about you can get. I say 7.5. It hits 60% about halfway through the eighth lap. So technically, you could say you'll get 8 laps on that. It's unlimited. Okay, something's off here. Setup. Something's off in the rules. 4, 5. That's off. Fuel and tires only. Setup. It's fun trying to work on these things after an update. There we go. That's what we like to see. So it's still 39 laps. We'll go 28. We'll start on the hards at 5 times tire wear. And let's see what happens. Fingers crossed. Yeah, it's put me about halfway. So again, I'm going to move over to the left, let everybody by, take out a couple of signs, and then we'll see how we do. Bonk. Bonk. Okay. Third gear. How many cars are we going to see off here on this next corner? Oh, none. They're pretty good. I see a little bit of dirt flying there. Like Shelby Daytona got a little out of shape. Oh, someone went off. This is going to be annoying. Okay, Forza, please look at that. The Drivatar's line, I get it. They're following, keeping all 4 tires on the track. They're not really, trying to cut at all. But for that alt circuit, you can go straight up that hill. I wish the Drivatars would do that. Got a good run here. Break a little bit before. Again, I want to leave myself some room. Oh my God. Okay, well, save the shenanigans for lap 2. So I think I'm going to have to, and again, this is probably partly from Sunset Peninsula testing last week. I think part of this is the PI that these cars we're asking them to run in. Might be a little higher than what the Drivatar system can handle, but so I may have to go with alternate opponents just to try and have something to race against. So we'll go to lap 14. Well, that sounded expensive. Okay, that's a little bit better. Okay, so I'll retract some of my statements about what the driver tires are doing. It might be that they were just being overly cautious. Ah, it's a very wide entry there, Mr. Ferrari. As I go off the road myself. You can see that lift when I got to the bottom there. As soon as I got out of the gas, the car turned a little more sharply. So, oh, as I missed my braking there. Yeah, if you feel the back end again, if you feel the back end stepping out, it's the easiest thing to do is just, oh, that's going to be a nice little weight shift issue. Again, if you feel the back end stepping out, just get out of the gas for that moment, get the car pointed straight, then roll back in. Whoop, that's time penalty.
Total time penalty is about 1.5 seconds.
That's okay with the way the driver tires are running. I think I can overcome that penalty. Narrow, because don't not stay over there. Thank you. It's a little bit early. Don't hit me, don't hit me. What? Get a little draft there. Thank you. I appreciate not getting a penalty for getting run into. All right, so this is really just, instead of turning into a semi-competitive race, it's really just going to be more about avoiding accidents. So we're at lap 6. So we'll check tires at the end of lap 7. If it's a little bit below 30%, I mean, we're probably still in that, 14 lap estimate. Because again, against the AI, my first lap here really didn't push the tires all that much. Too far back to try and make a pass, so brake a little early so I give myself some space in case they do something wrong. So this left-right combo here, just be careful how much gas you give when and how much steering you have in there. Because you're immediately, as soon as you get out of that left-hander, you're immediately setting the car up for the right. And if you go too quick with the weight transfer, the back end will want to step out or will want to start walking away from you. Almost a little late. So here again, kind of in traffic. I'm going to drop to second. Gives me a little more point on turning. forgot to check my tires at the end of lap 7. Where are we at?
Total time penalty is about
You
2
might be able to
seconds.
get closer to. Well, yeah, 14 is probably still accurate. Might be able to get 15. I think part of the reason getting out of that chicane at the top of the hill, why the back end will step out as well, is you are trying to do a very sharp left-handed corner across the crown of the road, so it kind of falls off on exit. Yeah, you go off on the left side there, that's fine. Thank you. There's a difference between a very late turn in and about probably where you should be turning in. Oh, that's very wide. Stay over there, stay over there, stay over there. Look ahead. Oof. Well, we might be able to set up a pass. Maybe not, but still. A little bit wide. I think I'm definitely asking the driver charters to do more than to race a combo that is kind of beyond their capability. And we don't have like engine damage on. That would have been very expensive. Full damage, yeah. Oh, that's not fourth. That's see again with the gear shift with the Logitech gear shift lever I'm using. You know, sometimes I'm really good with it, and other times like that. I'm all thumbs. There's a 14th lap. I actually want to wind this out and see. I may have to do just, given that I'm not really running consistent pace because I'm spending so much time avoiding accidents. I may go and just run a separate tire test, you know, to get at least a better read on how long they'll last. But there's minor. So yeah, 15. I imagine that they'll. Like, you know, here, I've had to check up so much. You gotta come race with us again, Lucky. Because your drive tire really sucks right now. Yeah, I'm still guessing I'm getting great tire wear because I'm not consistently pushing the tires for pace because it's, you know, don't hit people. So we'll pit this lap because I think we're close enough to 60. A little late, but okay, pit in, just gonna fire it in there and hopefully not hit anything. Yep, we'll go to medium, we'll skip that. And let's see what we need to do getting out of the pits and where we need to brake and hopefully not get sideswiped into turn one. I got it in second gear. And just brake right before the bridge, right before the yeah. You're ready to go. Oh, cold tires, out of the groove. Stay over there. Thank you. That was one of those like, oh, escape, escape, escape. I will give Turn 10 credit. The driver tires do make a reasonably good attempt to do safe rejoins when they go off. You know, it's rare that they'll, you know, like that. He didn't come all the way back across once he got back on track. Hero. Get going. Not coming fully out of the throttle at the apex, but just enough so that I can keep the car on track. I don't know how I got through that one. Watch, she's probably going to go off on the exit here. Oh, nope, he kept it on. Going into the pits.
3 to go.
Thank God. No. Ah, okay. It was going to happen at some point. It's that late race, you know, kind of either brake too late or I kind of get soft on the pedal. Oh, there's another penalty.
Total time penalty is about 3 seconds.
Almost did it again because I was watching the car off in the grass on the left. Almost joined him. Oh my God. One lap.
Last lap.
Way over there. Hit me, don't hit me. And we survived. That's Lime Rock full alt. Wow, they actually were making multiple pit stops. Race time 28:50. Actually, that's probably in the ballpark. So I did 27 laps there. I think when you factor in bucket delays and maybe pit stop strategies, that's 27 laps is probably a good guesstimate for the race. And again, there's always the time delays between uh, between the between qualifying, getting into the race, and trying to organize cats. Herd the cats, so to speak. So anyhow, that is Lime Rock full circuit alt in this Jaguar D-Type. Thankfully, I think our driving abilities are much better than the driver tars were here, so should be a good race on Thursday. This car actually does, again, keep it off the bumps and be careful how quick the weight shifts from left to right. Should be able to keep it going, keep it on circuit. So with that, I'm going to call it. I'm going to take a little bit of break, and I'll come back, and then we'll do the track guide for Maple Valley Short. And I'm going to poke around with with some alternate, you know, driver to our opponents. I think I need to pick something more that more naturally sits in A class and high A class. That might, you know, make at least the mock races a little more competitive and less avoiding crashes. So anyhow, hope you guys having a good afternoon. Happy racing. Oh wait, I got to do the podium. The Type is a nice looking car, I gotta say. I just wish the body kit we could have the Le Mans kind of shark fin off the back of it. But anyhow, hope you guys having a good afternoon. Happy racing.